Good morning, class. For this week's post, I decided to answer question number 1. First part, describe the first fault line, meaning the end of the Cold War, and the impact it had on the structure of the international system and the problems affecting American security policy. First, the impact on the structure of the international system after the Cold War proves to be beneficial because after the Cold War, the world saw a shift to political change, the end of communism except in 4 countries, Cuba, North Korea, China, and Vietnam, and secession of various countries, like the Soviet Union, for example. This end of communism across the globe was beneficial to the structure of the international system because the implosion of communism before World War II was one of the most important international events. Therefore, an event that had once dominated the globe was now slowly dying right before everyone in the world's eyes. The international structure before the end of the Cold War was described as bipolar by our textbook author, meaning dominated by 2 opposing states, which were the Soviet Union and the United States. Each opposing state was able to influence or even control the actions of the other state, also known as a tight bipolar. However, as the Cold War progressed, this notion quickly changed to loose bipolar, and the Soviet Union became unable to keep members in believing the principles of communism as their beliefs progressed. The system became known as the power vacuum, and the Soviet Union became the only pole left. Therefore, this led into the Cold War and the competition between communists and anti-communists. However, this end result would be a change in the structure of the international system and would take time for the United States and Russia to heal the previous wounds. The problems affecting American security policy is the realization that came into play during the Cold War. The United States was able to realize at the time the potential threat on national security, which was seen as one of the first times national security had been affected. National security was not even one of the most important items on the agenda till after the Cold War, and the United States realized the threat. Therefore, because of this realization, other problems affecting national security were now beginning Other problems affecting national security were what needs to be done to ensure these types of situations did not happen again. Americans were now beginning to learn the need for national security acts, and new policies needed to be adopted. The capabilities of the enemy, like seen during the Cold War with nuclear weapons, became a problem affecting national security because we did not understand as a country how far we needed to go with policy and security to ensure safety. This was beginning to be a new concept with the United States, and with new concepts becomes problems of understanding which affects American security policies. Next, the major benefits were the United States and Russia reduced the size of their nuclear arsenals and conventional forces, but we still do have a large enough nuclear force to do a significant amount of damage. The end of Soviet communism is beneficial because political differences have been removed that could have potentially led us to war. Other major benefits were, like I said before, the decrease in force sizes and expenditure levels were some of the most important major benefits. And then debatable changes are, a debatable change is the greatest emphasis on the developing world and did not represent much of a change for national security. So the textbook author argues that one of the debatable changes is that there was not this huge notion of a threat of national security and American security policies because he argued that since the United States deployed so many troops during the time of the Cold War, for instance, they deployed a significant amount of troops to Japan, Europe, Korea, Vietnam, and Grenada. Therefore, since they ended up deploying all these troops, the threat at home wasn't as serious because they would have left troops at home and wouldn't have deployed as many troops. So this is my post for the week. Thank you, and I can't wait to hear your feedback.